Yeah. I mean, the senior class, we've got returning, All-American and Caleb Einholz from the breaststroke and the fly. Nathan Buchema, who is a major contributor to the relays. When you look at speaking of the relays, you look at the 200 medley relay that was ranked 17th at the end of the season last year. All four of those guys are back, including Owen Hancock and Bryce Pope. And not only are they just singularly focused on getting the relay qualified for the national championships and hopefully invited this year. They're working hard as individuals to help that relay, but they're also really leading the rest of the team. They're really doing a great job of conveying the expectation, what it takes to get better. They're going in the weight room, they're working hard there, and they're leading the rest of the team. They're making sure that everybody's doing well academically. They're making sure that all the little details are being paid attention to. And we have some freshmen that are, a nice freshman group that's going to challenge for some relay spots. And Ryan Turner's, leading the sophomore class. He was challenging for some relay positions last year. He was a conference champion in the 200 freestyle. And so he's making sure that he's also leading in his own way by example. One of the things I really enjoy about working with Caleb is, over the years, we've had some national champions, we've had some great athletes, and, a couple of those people over the years were national record holders. And the thing about Caleb that's different from some of those other swimmers, those other swimmers, you could see in practice, they were just so much better than everybody else all the time. Caleb has to work in practice. He's not ultra fast at every single thing that he does. And so because he has to work to get better, and because some of the workouts can be a challenge for him, I think it makes it more achievable, that idea, the concept of going to the national championships. They're with him in practice. He's not leaving them behind. They're pushing him, he's pushing them. And so he's lifting the rest of his teammates up in a unique way that we haven't always had. And you can really see those guys believing that they have the ability to qualify those relays for nationals, that we can get more than one individual qualified for the national championships. The impact he's having, and it's not just in the water. He and I just had a great conversation about another guy and what that guy can do to continue to improve. So he's invested in his teammates, their improvement and in and out of the water. So he's really doing a great job of leading this team. So there's a couple people that I'm really excited to see what they can achieve. Andrew Bucksbaum is one. I mean, it's not like he's ever had a bad season. He's going into his junior year now. He's done well both years, but he worked hard this off season. He looks leaner. He looks stronger. He really focuses on his stroke technique. He's constantly asking for feedback, and I feel like we're seeing even greater progress from last season to this season than we saw the last couple years. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's going to be able to achieve. Nathan Buchema, I mentioned him, and he's on relays that have had B cuts and everything. But another one that I feel like he's right on that verge of, this might be that year that he's making the individual B cuts. And it seems strange to say this because Owen Hancock is a school record holder in the 200 butterfly. But at the very end of the season last year, we realized how good he is at backstroke. And so now he's making that switch. And it's interesting, after really training a lot of fly the first couple of years, to see his progress in backstroke. The 50 backstroke on that medley relay last year, he really used his strength in the underwaters. And now he's building on that, the stroke technique, the turns, the body position, all these other little details, so that longer distance is going to be better. So, in the end, I think he's got maybe a better shot at making the national championships in the backstroke than he did in the butterfly. He's really taken to it. So those guys are really showing a lot of potential. Aiden McCarthy, he was a fringe athlete last year. He came in very raw, very green. there was a lot of learning that he had to do. And this year we can see really a huge improvement. The stroke is cleaner. The test sets we're doing, he's a lot faster at. There's still some little details he struggles with, but every day it's a little bit better. And every so often we have to remind him, okay, but you got to stay focused. You can't backslide. But I think if he continues to improve at the rate that he is, he's going to have a huge year. I'm really excited to see what he achieves this year. Well, the big goal, the thing that we want to strive for, we want to do well in the conference, but more importantly, we want everybody to achieve their best times. Kind of going back, as they continue to work, as they continue to challenge each other, as they continue to lift each other, as they continue to keep each other accountable. As far as going those best times, it's going to be paying attention to the details. The goal this year is to get the relays to the national championships. And we can't do anything about what other teams do. They're all the teams that are at the national championships. They want to go back. They want to be, among the top teams in the nation. So all we can control is what we're doing here. I think it's a little bit of staying healthy, identifying what our weaknesses are so we can continue to work on improving on those. But I think as long as we continue to stay positive and keep working hard, I think there's a lot of good things on the horizon for us.